How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to my Southwest Florida 1/400 scale model airport series, where today I've got update 13 for you guys. Not too many changes in this one other than increased traffic and a few sleek new models I've been eyeing for quite some time. So anyways, let's get into it. Kicking things off at Concourse Bravo, which is mostly common use gates on this side, as this is usually where the international flights park. First up is this next-gen Porter Embraer E290. At the moment, this aircraft is having its baggage unloaded after coming in from Toronto, which you'll see is a pretty favorable route in this update. Next to that is another Toronto-bound maple syrup airline, this one carrying the Maple Leaf itself. This Air Canada Airbus A320-200CO is currently being catered as well as fueled, like I mentioned, bound for Toronto Pearson. On the far end of the pier now, and I promise this is the last departure to the Great White North, this WestJet Boeing 737-700 in the older livery is also being catered for its outbound to Toronto. I thought I might spice things up a little bit with all Canadian internationals, since the tourist season down here is winding down and everyone's pretty much going home. Additionally, Discover Airlines' route out of Frankfurt has dropped from daily to 2 times weekly for the off-season, so we'll sadly be seeing less of what is, for now, RSW's only wide-body service. Still on the far end of the pier, this Velo Airlines Boeing 737-800NG has just arrived from the airline's East Coast base in New Haven, and is having its cabin cleaned in preparation for its return flight. Moving on to Southwest Airlines' half the concourse, this Southwest 737-800NG is about to unload some bulk cargo after coming in from St. Louis. This is the NG model's release from a couple of years ago, and somehow I'm inclined to say that the color chosen for Southwest's unique purple livery was better on this older model than on those that were released later, which you'll see in a minute. Next in line is a Southwest 737 MAX 8 in one of their most renowned liveries, which is their Desert Gold Retro livery. This paint scheme was first introduced as the airline's original livery upon their arrival into the aviation industry in 1971. Now it's a great glimpse into the past of one of the largest LCCs in history. I actually got to see this one once and brought this model with me, which turned out to be a great video. Anyways, this SWA 737 MAX 8 with the classic colors just pulled into the ramp after touching down from Denver. Finishing off the operations here at Concourse Bravo, this last Southwest 737, this one being the 700 variant, is currently having a comically large tug attached to it as it prepares to push back, bound for none other than my hometown of Chicago. Either O'Hare or Midway Airport works. As I mentioned earlier, the shade of purple utilized in the newer releases by NG are significantly darker, not only than their other Southwest models, but also the real thing. Honestly, it doesn't really matter if you have enough lighting like I did, but it does kind of take away the perspective of a unanimous Southwest lineup. Transitioning over to Concourse Charlie with this brand new United Airlines Boeing 737-900ER Intercontinental Retro livery, which at the moment is unloading its baggage following its arrival from Washington Dulles Airport. This is admittedly one of the best special liveries that United has in my opinion, which as a plane spotter I'm still on the lookout for. However, I think the gold medal of United liveries goes to their other retro livery, which is the Stars and Bars livery on their A320, which depicts United's brief usage of that livery from 1972 to 1974. This one I did manage to get on camera, here at RSW actually, a couple of years ago, and it remains one of my favorite catches. Further continuing the Continental legacy, this United Boeing 737 MAX 9 in their Phase 2 Continental merger livery is waiting for its jet bridge to be retracted so that it may begin to push back, bound for Denver. Gusting into the next one, this photogenic Breeze Airways Airbus A220-300 is basking in the sunlight as it begins to be catered and properly arranged for its departure to Sin City. Breeze, along with JetBlue, have significantly expanded their secondary/non-hub routes out of Fort Myers. Almost every time I spotted RSW, there's always at least 2 Breeze A220s, with up to 3 being the most I've witnessed in once in person. For a smaller LCC at a small regional airport, that's pretty impressive. And finally here for Concourse Charlie is this Delta Airlines Boeing 737-900ER. At the moment it's being sanitized and made ready to welcome passengers aboard following its arrival from Salt Lake City. Panning over to Concourse Delta, where we begin with this American Airlines Boeing 737-800NG. Currently it's unloading a small amount of checked luggage after arriving from Charlotte. Now normally this route is conducted upon the Airbus A321 family, so it's interesting to see American change the equipment here. After that is another American Airlines mainline aircraft, this one being the A320-200CO. Right now it's having some bulk cargo unloaded following its arrival from Philadelphia. Taking a pause from American for just a moment with another A320, this one being Spirit's A320CO, which at the moment is being fueled up for its outbound return flight to Boston. Returning to American briefly, this American Eagle Embraer E175 has just rolled into the ramp and docked with its jet bridge after coming in from Washington Reagan National Airport. While it is a rare occurrence to get anything smaller than a 737 into RSW, American did operate these E175s on this route a handful of times, and since they cut their secondary service out of Austin in 2024, the appearances of this aircraft have dwindled to the chance of a last-minute equipment change. It is pretty sad that the secondary routes didn't work for American as they might have hoped, and now they operate out of Fort Myers solely on a primary hub basis. And as the final aircraft for this regional Southwest airport update, yes, I know ball, this JetBlue Airbus A321-200neo, which has been given the name A Midsummer Night's Dream, is being heavily catered as it prepares to depart for New York's JFK. Before I call it quits, I'd like to address the elephant in the room, or in this case, the background. I've taken a few bricks that were laying around and formed this representation of the construction on the brand new Concourse Echo. While this huge expansion of the airport will double its operating capacity at its opening in late 2027, I can confirm that it's already taking shape in real life, and rapidly. So far, almost all of the windows have been installed, which will apparently act as the walls of the structure, giving it a very modern look. I've heard a lot of people say that this marks the second stage of a huge plan into turning RSW into a much larger airfield, maybe even comparable to the likes of Tampa. As for the construction on Concourse Charlie, that's almost all but finished in real life, and I have plans for the future to incorporate the new glass walls of the expanded intersection with some transparent light blue bricks as I did with the rest of the terminal. Speaking of expanding, stay tuned for my next Chicago O'Hare update because it's going to be packed. Other than that, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I tried to keep it simple this time, but that never really works for me. There's so much more to implement into my LEGO terminal build, so I hope you all are looking forward to that as much as I am. If you haven't already subscribed but have stayed here this long, I ask that you at least consider it. It helps me out a ton, and it lets me know that you enjoyed this video and want more like it. As always, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, fly safe.